The Fly Fifer Podcast. Let's talk. Your chat, your way. This episode is sponsored by J. Couriers. The people who care for your delivery.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, whenever you're listening. And today, if you look above me, I'm in somebody else's studio. It's another man, another story, another true life story. And this is this guy I found again, like so many guys, I'm getting on TikTok, listening to their story, listening to what they're putting out, watching them help others, and it is just completely phenomenal. So I'm going to get him on screen. If you don't recognise him by that, there, Unfiltered Lives, you might recognise him for this. And Charlie, just so you know, his name is Charlie Morrison. Whenever that goes red, pal, it's on you. So Marcella Blackman, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
Yeah, man, thanks, James. And man, I really appreciate you coming all this way, mate.
Yeah, man, listen, look, let's not kid anybody on. I was doing in Leeds anyway, but I've been wanting to talk to you for an awfully long time. And I think I've curtain twitched, as Alan and I would say up the road. I think I've curtain twitched your content for probably the best part of the last year. And then obviously just recently started interacting a bit more, like the wee bird coming up, pecking a wee bit and then dashing away. And then contacting you to say, look, let's do a podcast. So, Charlie, it's not about me. Today's about you and about any message you want to get out there. My thing just goes out to the community that's out there that listens, to a whole bunch of other curtain twitchers. I'm remarkably... I actually admire your story because I've seen a lot of it online. I've never sat opposite you getting it. There's a very similar past. Obviously, no two paths are the same, but it's a very similar past that drew me into you anyway. You know, and for me, that's alcoholism. I know you don't mind talking about it, as I've seen it plenty of places round about. Alcohol sucked a huge part of my life. Through watching your social media, I've seen that it grabbed a whole lot of yours as well. But before we get into that, let's talk a bit about you, like where you're from, you know, where you grew up, what life was like for you. Just the basic stuff to get us going. Of course,
my thanks, James. I I love that metaphor of the curtain twitcher, because I was doing the exact same, do your stuff. There's people that just come into your universe, you're like, what are they doing? That's very similar to what I'm doing. And you have a wee look about and you go, I like what they're doing. So again, man, thank you ever so much. So just a wee bit, man, about me. I'm from a housing scheme in Paisley called Fergusley Park, called Feigy Park. And I was born and bred there, actually. That was the centre of my universe. My mum and dad didn't have much, or didn't have anything, actually. But there was a lot of alcohol abuse. There was a lot of domestic violence. There was just a lot of that 70s and 80s desperation, no money, extreme poverty, and how when you make a penny or a pound. And then basically it was, and my mum and dad had like 5 kids, and both of them living in a tenement building, scrimping and scraping. And then, you know, my mum and dad were 21 and 21 when they had me.
As kids having kids, innit?
I only knew them, man, as mum and dad. And I will get into it later on. But when I look back at my past, I realise that my mum and dad, you know, they were trying their best for what they had at the time, which was nothing, and trying to bring up 5 kids in degradation. And that's what schemes were, man. Schemes were degradation. There were poverty-ridden places where they put the people out the way of the town centres. And in Paisley, there was about 4 or 5 of these big, massive housing estates, and that's basically what I was brought up. Miles upon miles of tenement buildings, kids out playing. Everybody knew each other's my business. But
looking out the window, looking into somebody else's window.
To me now, man, it's like a whole new universe.
Right.
It's like a whole new place that just doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to do on my TikTok. Actually, I'm trying to gradually talk about that and bring that out to people my generation, because I don't see that, man, in TikTok. Because in my opinion, there's a lot of, I would say that there's a reservoir. There's a reservoir of people who have buried this trauma or this environment of trauma.
Yep.
And if one person can stick their head above the parapet and go, "Do you remember then? Do you remember?" So the point is not to hide. The point is to talk about it and go, "Yeah, I remember this." And no all times it was bad.
Yeah.
No all times it was bad. There was loads and loads of good times, because as Waynes, we would be playing in streets until our mums went, "Charlie, come in."
Chappie, Kirby, all the things you mentioned the other day there. Yeah. Aye, sorry.
No.
I interrupted there thinking about Kirby and everything like that, because you're right. So you are one of the very, very few, like what I thought Alan and I were trying to do back in the early days of our podcast, and it's always been the Fly Fifer or the Fly Fifers, because Alan lived in Fife, he was from Edinburgh, I lived in Edinburgh and I was from Fife, and it was so refreshing to see that there was another man out there who had picked himself up out, as Alan would coin the phrase, shit creek, dust himself down, but then you didn't go running away.
No.
You know, you like an Olympian, you grabbed that torch and ran back into the darkness to pull other folk out of shit creek and help dust them down. And that's what you're up to now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a long road to get to there, Charlie. So
yeah,
let's backpedal forward a wee bit.
Yeah.
You know, but that's why we're here today, and that's how we're here today. Is because of that process. You know that.
Very much so.
You know, so. What's the aim for us today with this conversation? For me, I just wanted to be in your presence. I just wanted to talk to you. I just wanted to meet that guy that's on a similar, path as myself. I've maybe let go of the path recently. You know, Alan did trauma-informed art. He's away focusing on the trauma-informed art,
Fantastic.
And I mean, I suggest to anybody out there to go follow him, because a different thought process. Again, another man's been on a path. No two paths are the same. He works his darkness into light. He works his trauma, his acts,
fantastic,
whatever, they come out of him in doodles and art and creations that he comes up to. So he's away doing that now, or else he would probably have been here, at some point. But so for you to get to that point, what's the story? What dark path did you have to go down first?
We, my mum and dad, they were kids having kids in my opinion. I didn't know that because I was a kid myself. And by the age of 13, I was in a children's home. So I spent the next 6 years in a children's home, and no understanding why I was took away from my mum and dad. And
was that difficulties on their part? Okay.
That was alcoholism.
Right. Okay.
Alcoholism. I won't go into that because that's their story. Really.
Yeah.
Real alcoholism. And so we went into a children's home, and I could never understand why I thought I was a bad kid.
Right.
And so 2 weeks before we went into a children's home, I was sitting at a bus stop, and I can tell this story because I'm massive. And I remember sitting at this bus stop as a 13-year-old boy, and this car passed me by, and I remember the registration plate, I remember the car, I remember the date, I remember everything about it. And it was just a time in my consciousness where as a 13-year-old boy, my consciousness came into light, and I thought, I'm going to tear the world apart. And if I cannot tear the world apart, I'm going to tear me apart.
Right.
Because that's how I felt. I felt so lonely. I felt like a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah,
I had a terrible stutter my whole life because I was taken into foster care by the age of like 3 months, 4, and by the time I come back, I couldn't talk. Right. So I would imagine it would be like a child PTSD now.
Right.
But back then it was just undiagnosed. I came back. I was took away from my mum, and then I came back with a terrible stammer. So
and did that
I've still
come?
got it.
Yeah.
I've still got it now.
Aye.
I've still got it now. There's words and there's syllables and the sounds I just can't reach.
Right. Okay.
So I've had to do a lot of work on that, and the irony is I talk for a living now.
Yes.
You know, so I've had to do a lot. I've had to do a lot of work on that. But so I was really. I was really introvert. I lived in an imaginary world in my head of a place where I wanted to live and all this stuff. And so this car passed me by. It's that I don't know why I remember this. F100 FHS was the registration plate.
Right.
Now we see cars thousands and thousands, and I, as a 13-year-old boy, remember this. Like you're sitting here today, and I remember saying to myself, "This is where I explode."
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I was in the children's home, and I just knew things were going to be bad. I knew things were going to be bad. I didn't realise to what extent.
Aye.
But I knew things were going to be bad.
Right.
And that was a 13-year-old boy. As I say, I was a square peg in a round hole.
And you're not a wee guy, Charlie. So back at 13, were you wee then, or
I was wee and thin. I was wee and thin, and I was kind of, out of all my friends, I was kind of run to the litter.
Right. Okay.
Do you know what I
Youngest?
mean?
Were you? How many's in your family? Did you say 5?
So there's 5 of us, but I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest, right?
I was very weak around my friends. I was very weak. I was a worst fighter. I couldn't talk. I had a stutter, and when I say that we didn't have money, we had less money than everybody else. We didn't have anything.
Yeah.
We didn't have nothing. We all my friends and their families, mums, and I worked or something like that. My mum and dad had less.
So in the care home then, or in the care or the foster care facilities, wherever it was it a facility? Was it a family? Was it? Were you all split up?
We were all split up. Every single one of us. I went to different children's homes, and I went to something called. It was called the Grive Home, and it was like a castle.
Right.
It was like a castle out in the countryside, and I had never been outside Ferguson Park.
Right,
and I went to this wee man village called Bridgeware, about 50 miles away, and it was like Harry Potter. And they were great years.
Right.
In the children's home, I went from degradation, poverty, to getting £3.75 a week pocket money.
Fed
4 times a day.
Wow.
£50 a month clothing, £100 at Christmas.
Wow.
To and from one school, your packed lunch, your play peas, all the so like I went to Harry Potter land, and to most people, they would be like, my children's home, that's terrible. To me,
it was heaven.
It was fed. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I think it was the first time I'd ever tried spaghetti bolognese.
Right. Okay.
And do you know, man, stuff like that, cans of Coca-Cola, cheese.
Wow.
Do you know that sort of stuff that
you
people
didn't have to steal it for once?
Do you know what I mean?
So, how long were you there then?
6 years.
6 years there, so to 13 right up to 19-year-old.
Yeah.
And was that time up, Charlie? You need to go.
It was time up, or I'd still be there today.
Right,
it was literally time up. I went to the last day.
Right, okay. Is that still operational? Is that gone now? Is it?
It's gone now. I went up to see it about 8 years ago, and it was gone now. They sold all the land and all this stuff, so it's gone. And I don't think my children's home is that big now. Right. I think it's more like in towns and stuff like that, where they buy houses, so you can't tell that the children's home.
Yeah. So they're mixing in with the community. In fact, I honestly don't think I know of any children's homes round about. I just thought everybody got put out to foster carers nowadays. No.
There'll be loads of children's homes, but you will only be aware that they exist because they're all been camouflaged in society, man, and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
It's a good. It normalises everything slightly, so you're not different.
Yeah.
You know, why is he living in that big mansion?
Exactly.
And, why is he getting a taxi? Because I did a podcast recently with the kinship care folk. And they're saying, trying to normalise everything. Why is, nobody getting taxis, getting walked to school?
Yeah.
Why is it always granny and everything like that? That's a different podcast. But so I guess to normalise it and just be in a street with everybody else helps the kids even further.
I actually, 3 years ago, I actually sent away and I got all my care records.
Aye.
So and the woman said, "Are you sure you want these?" It took me about 6 months to actually get them.
Right.
To get them sent. And there's a lot that's been detracted actually man as well, but I got my Careman records,
right, okay.
because they write every single day, man, 4 times a day about you in my children's home.
Right. And how did that look then, getting that back? How did that feel, getting that back? Never mind how did
Traumatic,
it look.
very
right.
traumatic, because it was young. You know, I had been in my children's services since I was born,
right.
so I got all that and all the care stuff. So it was. I've still no, if I'm honest, I've still not read through them properly. I've still not really went there yet, but I've kind of flicked through, and I was like,
is there any bits of like, I don't remember that, and then other bits it's like, holy shit.
There's bits that refresh your mind. You go, because as a child you only see from a child's point of view. What I'm actually seeing is from an adult's point of view, or a social services point of view, or a care home point of view.
At you as
I'm
a
not
child.
seeing the way. I'm only seeing it through the eyes of someone who was 13.
Wow.
So completely different concept and completely different eyes.
And is there any part of that you remember from flicking through it that you could say, well, I thought this, but then here's what they thought?
Yes.
Aye.
Loads of it.
Right.
Loads of it.
Anything you want to share on that, or
no,
feel like sharing? Or
there's just...
like, just to get a comparison sort of thing.
Yeah, man, there was a part where my mother you came up to see us, and she was doing some ironing, or something like that. And the care home had looked at it in a different way, and they had looked at it as if it was a manipulation or something like that.
All right.
Yeah. So I thought, my mum's just something doing some ironing, but they had other eyes on it.
They'd seen it as, mum's trying to say, look, everything's normal or something.
You know, that's
right.
So completely different. And then there was just loads of stuff that I found out. Loads of stuff that I found out. So what I actually did is I dived into my past and like for stuff that like I would say about 75% of it I never knew.
Never knew.
Never knew.
And that's in a folder.
That's been in a folder for the best part of 30 years.
Wow.
And I just got it about 6 months. No, I got it two years ago.
2 years ago, right.
It's still lying there.
And is that, part of everything that you've been through, is that one final bit that's still to be, sitting, reading it?
Aye, it is.
It's there, but it's like,
there.
I'll peck, but
I'm going on about 3 years into my recovery now, so when I'm 3 years, so in time wise it's very early. I'm still finding myself in all this, but I've did a lot of work, and I think that's why I've been so successful on my recovery is because of the work that I was willing to do, and still am.
Yeah, still am. So folk that watch this will know I make no bones about it. I was an alcoholic for years. And I thought, as I was explaining to you, Claire, how I got through it and everything like that, and I've had a conversation with you about it, and I wasn't able to go to groups. Groups had an adverse effect on me. This was one of the things that I remember just telling Claire the other night. It made me want to go and drink more. So I had to avoid that altogether.
I understand that.
And I had to just stay away from it. There was no, how can I put, higher power for me. There was no one to turn to for me. I had to, do you know what it was like? I don't want to lay it on him. I don't want to lay it on her. I didn't want to lay it on. They're all thinking I'm just bevying and having a good time, but I was dying inside. Every time. Drinking to forget, drinking to sometimes no wake up, just through stupid things that happened in the past as a way. Alcoholic father, a mother that was, broke because of the alcoholic father. A very good mother, I can't doubt that. I was lucky there. But then what happened there for me, Charlie, was, yes, I seen this wife-beating alcoholic father and all the things that come from that, all the violence and all the fighting, all the drinking, to a mother that then had 4 kids when she managed to get rid of that element. 4 kids that she'll watch this, so I'm not going to be rotten to her. But she gets it. So she wasn't about much because she was going out working during the day as a cleaner. She was going and working in the pub at night, believe it or not. But she was working as a cleaner during the day, in the boozer as a barmaid at night to give us everything that we couldn't get. She was at that point where she had to. But then what happened there was you lost your other parental figure. No, I wasn't putting a home or anything like that, far from it. They'd have had a fight on their hands with that Glasgow woman, let me assure you. But that, for me, was like I'd lost both of them. I'd lost the bad influence. The good influence was now working all day and all night, so I'd lost that. And to a lot, I was on my own a lot as a wee boy, which brings along its issues.
Other issues.
You know, your sisters are looking after you the night. Oh, aye. One, the oldest would part me to the next oldest, would part me to the next oldest, to the next one saying, just hang about here, you'll be all right, I'm away doing whatever I'm doing. You know, 3 lassies, 4 mothers I've got. So 3 lassies all hanging about doing what lassies do at that age.
Yeah.
They were all young. You know, there's like 5-6 years between us all. So being alone a lot really messed with me.
Yeah.
And then, sadly, when you're alone at that young age, I'm going back like 5, 6, 7, stuff like that. Different times, a kid could potentially be left and be quite relatively safe. But there was predators then as well. You know what I mean? And like, there was a load of boys in my local community. There was a predator that treated us all sweeties and everything like that. Now, I've never let this part go on the camera before. You're getting it today. I don't know why I'm doing it today. But this, I wasn't the worst. I wasn't treated the worst. But he used to pick us up in his motor, feed us sweeties, do everything like that. Now, I've approached all the guys that were in this kind of like ring, if you like. So one guy used to pick us all up, take us away in his car, feed us sweeties, crisps and everything like that. But then, as a 6, 7-year-old bairn, I never fucking knew, right? He'd want to hug your willy, right? Now, that's the best way I can explain this. He wanted to hug your willy for you to do a pee so you didn't get your hands dirty for eating your crisps. See where the boy, he just led it in that way. Horrible, nasty person, you know. Now, that's all I got. Don't ask me how. You know, that was as far as that went with me, because I know that there was other boys close to me that got a lot worse. I've approached them several times, and, you know, the doors get shut. You get blocked. They just didn't want, they're no interest because it's a hard thing for them to deal with. Now, I know 2 guys in particular, they just vanished on me. We were talking for years on social media, for years and years. And the minute I brought that up, boom, door got shut. And away they went. And I've never heard or seen for them since. So pointing it out today is basic on my part. You know, I didn't know that guy was doing wrong until I was at first year at high school and learned what your bobby was for. You know what I mean? For me, it was just something that you peed out of going to the toilet. So I didn't even know until high school that I had been abused. But again, that when the realisation sinks in, alcoholic father, all these things sink in, you're trying to be a man, you don't know who you are. That was my deep dive into drugs, alcohol. I'm not a fighter, never been a fighter, but I would get involved in fights. I'd go fighting for the pain. Yeah. You know, there's a different pain. That relaxed me. You know what I mean? Getting kicked about a street because I was never a fighter, I wasn't good at it. That pain, though, was like, I'll take that. Yeah. I'll take that. And then I've found, you know, you find hash, you find all the things that come along with that. And then another family member, no abuse, no nothing like that, took me under his wing. But I've got to watch what I say here because this will be really touchy. Took me under his wing and taught me another way to working. I was a drug runner. That was my job. I was sent here. Exciting. Young laddie. No much money. Go here, pick that up. Just bring it back, dump it here. You'll get this. Very early days of hash and stuff. Very early days of that. Fuck, I'm doing that. Because I would get my wee lump of whatever it was for free. I could have been fucking jailed for years and years with the stuff this guy had me carrying about. But it didn't matter. So that's kind of where I went with it. But I didn't miss. Whereas I learned how not to treat the female form, as in you didn't beat them up. You have to love them for them to love you back. What I didn't miss, though, was the alcoholism. And all the rest of it was just a wee lead-in to alcoholism, you know. So I'm not here to put out any kind of revelation. It's just to let you understand my path, you know.
Do you know, I believe that we were a product of our environment.
Aye, yeah.
You know,
that's why when I hear you talk about the schemes and stuff like that, and I hear it, okay, you lost both parents. I didn't lose them as dramatically as you did, so I can understand that pain and hurt, but I still lost them. So it's a similar path.
Absolutely.
Different story.
Absolutely. And when people say to me, you know, your pain is worse than my pain, because I say, listen, we own our own pain. It's what we do with our pain that will make us who we are today. You know, I was a product of my environment. It was never my fault. You know,
because you don't know any better.
Because you don't know. But for me, it was getting to the cause. the cause and the effect. So I was a product of my environment, man, growing up in these schemes. We also had man a predator man as well, man, about our myths. And I was a product of that, and the symptom was alcohol and drugs from an early age. I mean, my first drink was 2 Diamond Whites. I was
6.
I was I was about 15. It was a weekend out at the children's home, and I blanked out in my first Diamond White. I woke up the next day. I had cut marks all over me and all sorts. And
do you know what? I don't drink coffee because my first ever real drink was 6 Diamond Whites, obliterated, and my stepfather tried to sober me up with coffee.
Really?
I can't touch it. Even the smell of coffee takes me right back. So I can't touch coffee because of that reason. And
that's one of the reasons why I can't drink whiskey. One of the reasons I've never been able to drink my whiskey because I cut a month after that. It was New Year, and me and my 2 pals, I thought it'd be a great idea to get a case of Tennant's Lager, a cheap bottle of my whiskey. I poured half a Tennant's Lager in a pint tumbler, and the other half of my whiskey, and I downed it in one. And I was sick for about 3 days, and I've never been able to drink my whiskey since.
Like suit as well.
And so the kind of product of the environment, I had been blanking out for 30 years. So while everybody was enjoying themselves on my drink, no one knew that I was blanking out.
Yeah.
I remember nothing. Absolutely.
But that's the thing, we would go out with a group of folk, get absolutely bad before you, that Charlie's a great laugh.
Yeah.
James, coming out tonight, we'll hear a laugh. Well, it might be a laugh for you, but for me, it's a different story. I'm going out to forget, and you would go out and you'd become the life and soul. He's a great laugh, he's this, he's that. Entertainer. You became the jester, didn't you, in the group, because they were all looking for a laugh. And because we would get so steaming or out our box, however you want to explain it, we became their entertainment.
Yeah. And for 30 years there, drinking was my way out until it wasn't my way out. Drinking was my solution until it wasn't. Until alcohol and drugs started to take everything away from me. But by the end of the 30 years, I had 4 big suicide attempts. I had a prison sentence. I had a car crash that left me paralysed, and I had to learn to walk and all that again. That was in 2019, left completely paralysed. It took me another 3 years of the madness after that. You would think that man being paralysed would stop you from drinking. It never me. No. It never deterred me. It took me another 3 years after that for me to realise that, well, in actual fact, I was just sick of being sick. I had 30 years of absolute carnage. And it was all to do with the 13-year-old boy, believe it or not, a product of the environment. But he was seeing, he couldn't, young boy could not accept the world around him. So what does a 13-year-old boy do, man, if you can't accept all the madness and all the stuff around you, the square peg in the round hole? Well, what I want to do is set the world on fire. And because I wasn't a good fighter either, I set me on fire. So I basically went in the 30 years carnage, chaos and rampage, but mostly to hurt myself. But hurt myself, I was also hurting other people as well along the way, dramatically, chaotically.
See the amount of times you rolled about the ground. How many times do you think, is that your best?
I know.
Is that your best? Is that all I'm getting tonight? Crazy, isn't it?
But, I could be sick for 3-4 days doing the toilet pan, and 2 days later I would be back on my drink. And most people, it would be enough to put them off. I wasn't an everyday man drinker. I was an alcoholic who drank every day. I was an alcoholic when I drank. It was business.
There's
it was chaos.
It
was, and it's like, and then it'd be it'll be different this time. I've got it this time.
I'm not going to go as hard. I'm not blacking out tonight.
I'll just have a glass of wine. But I was very, I was very wise because, well, I don't mean wise. What I would do is I would test the water. So I would have about 4 days in the bender, and then round about the Tuesday I would test her, and I go, do you mind if I just have a wee glass of wine? She's like, no after the weekend. So then I'd wait till Wednesday, any chance of a wee glass of wine. And because I'd been good for 3 days, she'd be, oh yeah. As soon as I had the glass of wine, I knew by the Friday I'd be on it.
On it again. I just never had the off switch at all. I like the way, a fashionable way that I've seen somebody put it was Liam Gallagher. You see him all over social media, right? And a lot of guys will have seen this. He's like, has a conversation with somebody where he says, "Are you coming out for a pint?" Nah, I'm off it, man, I'm off it. I just come for one. And you're like, fucking going for one. You know, and he's a rock star, a different world, but similar situation. Oh, come out for one pint? I can't do that. All right, I'll have two, or I'll have three. The minute you hit three, that's it. Here we go. You know, you've got work in the morning, don't fucking care. You know, I mean, on that as well, bringing up work and no having an off switch. I used to start a job at like 4 and 5 and 6 in the morning and be out to 1, 2, and home, shower, refresh, a nip at something, out to work. The amount of boys that says to me, "You are fucking reeking, get in," you know. I got to the point where I took that much time off my work, a driving job, by the way. I took that much time off. I was going to work drunk and driving, drunk, you know, because I'd been out the night before. Such was the party that needed the night before.
I get it.
And then going out in that drunk, I could have fucking killed somebody and ended up inside, you know, for the rest of my life for manslaughter or killing somebody with a truck or
been there.
Imagine.
It's when you look back and you go, fucking hell.
So how do we, you know, as a group of people, how do we just get people to talk, people to approach? How do you do it with what you're doing? Because I've, like I've said earlier, been curtain twitching on your stuff, seeing that you're actually actively out there chasing and help. Well, not chasing, but helping people. You know, talking to them. What is it you're up? What is it you're actually doing? Let's because there'll be folk that have never seen you before. So I'll put the camera on you, and you can explain to your camera what it is you actually do, what you're part of. And
so what I'm actually doing at the moment, what I'm actually doing at the moment is I'm trying to get people to slow down. I'm trying to notice people. I'm trying to get people to notice the distraction of life. And for me, when I talk about the square peg in the round hole, for me, we were never supposed to be this distracted in life, whether it drink, through it, death scrolling, through it, whatever it is. And my whole purpose and my passion in life is to say, man, listen, we deserve more than this. We deserve more than what we are getting, man, right now. And if we were to just take a wee moment, put our phone down, and realise just how important we are to ourselves and to other people around us. Because I believe that every human being has a passion and a purpose inside. But because of the distraction of life and mortgages and jobs and everything else, we hide this. We hide these distractions. We become a product of the distraction. And for me, what I'm trying to do in my lived experience recovery organisation is showing people how to slow down. Whether that's through meditation, whether that's through my Tai Chi, whether that's through my dog walking, whether that's through just going a walk on the coast or a walk in your local forest, whatever slowing down is to you, that's what my passion is. Because I firmly believe that we are being dealt cards at the moment that aren't our cards. And if we were to look at our own card and realise just how important we are, then we would realise the power that we have inside. And the power that we have inside is abundant. It's love, it's joy, it's happiness. But at the moment, what we have been fed is distraction. And the minute that we realise that we are worth more, because there will never be another you on this planet. There will never be another you that's watching this podcast, and there'll never be a you that is thinking the way that you are thinking. You're worth more. And my purpose in this life is to show my people that by taking a small step, by putting your phone down, turning the TV off, that you can enjoy being you. Yeah. And that's really what I'm trying to get,
and I can resonate 100% with that. Whereas you're trying to get people to slow down, I'm trying to catch the other ones to get them to talk about that slowing down and what it means to them. Because you're absolutely right. We are all different. We're all being distracted by whatever it is, you know. And I think social media, phones, are actually the new drug, the new alcohol, the new dopamine hit. They're everything, and they phones are just as bad, if no worse. And we're handing them out to children. Now, the irony is we're recording something to go onto one of them for somebody to watch at some point. We'll put clips on social media and everything like that to bring people in. But it's no to bring people in to dance and sing on the tables, or, oh, look at us, or look at me. You know, we're no that type. This is something completely different, where we're trying to get people to understand them, what's going on around about them, what's driving them to potentially drink, what's driving them to potentially scroll, and everything that you just said there. And it's because there's someone with the same difficulty. Might be a different path, but it's the same problem, the same issue maybe affecting them. And it's just to let them see that they're not alone. You're not alone in this. We're pushed and driven by society to think that we're on our own. Deal with it yourself.
Brilliant.
You know.
Brilliant.
But we're not, you know, and we need to get other people to let them see. James was an alcoholic. Oh, I'm having trouble with drink. I might reach out to James. Charlie, fuck, I need to slow down. I need to... Fuck's sake, I've got a dog. I fucking leave it in the corner. When you know, wait a minute, if I slowed down and reach out to these guys, I might find another person that knows what I'm going through. Yeah. And that, I think, is why I do podcasts. It's just, you are not alone. You're not out there alone. There is thousands, millionaires out there that have dealt with it or dealing with it that need to come together. Society seems to be killing the community. For a long time, it's been killing the community. Sorry, Charlie.
And what you've spoke about there is connection.
Connection, yeah.
But not just connection. I'm talking about deep-seated healing connection. Because for me, at the minute, we're all distracted by each other, but we're not connected to each other. Yeah. Especially when I am a social animal. Yeah. I am a social animal, but addiction took me into isolation. And you know, we've all got fences up against each other, and we're, you know, and it's like every man to themselves and all this stuff. But what I am talking about is connection to our human beings, connection to each other, deep-seated healing connection. But not just that. You just said a word they call community, and community and connection, you know, is really what it means to be a human being. So. For me, I'm talking about the alcoholism and the drugs and the environment and all this stuff. Was really, it was really just a symptom. It was a symptom to take me away from connection and community. So I can talk about addiction to the cows that come home, but the real recovery story here is the connection in the community. And this is why when you do this, I would imagine, and do this with purpose and passion. And you know, because when we realise, so for me, when I came out of drugs and when I came out of drugs and drink, I didn't realise that I had so much purpose and passion and meaning and need and values and spiritual connection inside me. And as soon as I started to realise this stuff, I'm like, where has this been? I'll tell you where it's been hidden. And do you know what, Charlie? You're spot on, because it's those with the extreme hurt that's reach back with the most help. I'm finding. I really am finding that the folk that have been through the most traumatic, whatever incident, whatever it is they've went through, it's them that reach back the hardest, the most. And it was but we're the guys that are doing that. We're just one of many. We're two of many, sorry. And the bizarre thing is, neither of us get funded to do it. You know what I mean? We're not sitting we're not sitting in ivory towers. You know, okay, I'm in the Highlands, middle of nowhere, to let people understand. I didn't buy that. I was lucky that I was invited to join a family to do, you know, and you know, I've married my wife now and everything. That was an invitation to something better, a better start, a better life. So, you know, I wasn't able to facilitate that. I'd have been still staying in Edinburgh in my tenement flat or whatever. I'd still have been there. But I've lost my train of thought of where I was going with that. But yes, community. Sorry, Charlie. No. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. And what you were talking about there. Yeah. There was family, man, invited into the family, which is beautiful, man, isn't it? Because people seen something. I would imagine this is what, and you know, when your wife or family seen something in you. Because what I firmly believe is people see potential in us before we see potential in ourselves. And when people see potential, I'm starting to buzz here. When people see potential in us, we don't see the potential. And that's why, for me, it's like I see the potential in others. I mean, this is why, I'm a guy who had a terrible stutter my whole life.
Yeah.
I've had to raise above that. I've had to raise above the stutter to go, do you know what I mean? I want to be a voice to show people that they have potential within them. You've got as much potential in them as I have.
Yeah.
And I say, man, it's like my duty of care. It feels like a duty of care to show people what they have within them, because there is an absolute, there's a fight out there. There's an absolute fight in there who people don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
I just did a reel about 3 weeks ago, and it was called Glasgow Men Don't Talk.
Yeah.
I was born in the 60s, been raised in the 70s, that. And then I went on to talk about a wee bit about am I growing up. That had 200,000 views.
Yeah.
200,000 views of people who were identifying with what I was saying. So there are people out there who are really, 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 really struggling. Yeah. And I feel like this person is a person who has got a small voice to show people that you can do this. There is, as you said as well, there's two lads here and talking who are trying their best to raise my voices and to show other people that we were a product of our environment, that we can still make whatever happen we want to happen, as long as you're willing to walk incrementally, very, very slowly, walk alongside whatever you want to walk alongside.
Exactly. And what part of your life would you have ever thought that you were out there on social media doing podcasts, to help others? Because we were helping ourselves for a long time.
Great
point, long time.
Great point.
So who'd have thunk it that we're here now, battling the elements to reach back into the jobbies to pull the next man up?
It's a fantastic point.
Aye. And who'd have thunk it? I don't know. I don't know what we need to do to break through. It's not about money. It's not about fame, fortune, none of that. I mean, look, you asked me, how did you get on the radio station? I had a podcast. And they asked me to come on and do what I'm doing here with you on the bloody radio. But I thought radio was different. I thought you could have folk phoning in. Seemingly you can't do that. But that's what I wanted. I wanted the community. Let's get about the community. No interest in music, no interest in that. I love music, don't get me wrong. But I don't want to play music. I want to talk to the community. I want to stop them hiding. I've been told that there's a huge alcohol and drug problem where I live. And there's no services. And I'm like, I didn't need paid. You know what I mean? But let's talk. That back basic thing. Let's talk about it. Let's sit down. Let's build a group. Let's do it. There's no funding to do it. So when you've not got a job and you're not earning, it's how do you get to that point to help other people, you know? I mean, I know you're doing amazing things down here. There's a good population here, but what is it you've got running?
What I've got running, you just know, is we've just started our own community interest group. Right. So that's basically like a lived experience recovery organisation.
Right.
And my lived experience means people who have lived it. So what I did is I've got a small team around me, and we're building this lived experience recovery organisation. People who've been in addiction, people who've been in alcoholism, and we are building a small charity. I've just launched a timetable, and we've got. So the timetable is just like window shopping. It's just to show my people. So there's about 5 different events, and it's just to show my people that there's wee bits and bobs happening. So if you're walking past my window, then you can pop in and see what's happening. So basically we've got recovery meetings, and then we've got Tai Chi on the Tuesday, meditation and drumming on the Wednesday. Thursday we've got volunteer staff training, and then Friday we've got my walk and talk. Over at the beach, and then Saturday we do my strength training. Right. So that's just a wee bit of window shopping to show my people what can be done if you're willing just to step outside your comfort zone. But really, there's so much more. Yeah. We can only do that because we're only like a team of 7 of us. So I mean, we can only put this on, and all these elements of what I've said to you is just a way to show people how to slow down. If you walk alongside. So it doesn't matter if you've been in recovery, addiction, alcoholism, whatever it is. If you're a sufferer of life, if life has got you down somewhere, we're the people that you can turn to, because what we want to do is just show you that there's another There's another way of living. And what people call this the alternative way of living, in actual fact, it's not. It's a simple way of living. It's a simple way of living. But if you simply don't know that these stuff exist, you simply don't know. Yeah. So I didn't think 3 years ago I'd be doing Tai Chi. Yep. Do you know what I mean? Or I would be doing strength training on the beach on a Saturday morning, or I'd be doing meditation and drumming on a Wednesday. All these stuff that are right outside my comfort zone. Yeah. These aren't the stuff that I take. That I am comfortable doing. No. But I go and do them because they're good for my soul. Yeah. They're really, really good. So
meditation, you help meditation.
So that's really what it's about.
Yeah, sorry to butt in there, but
no, you go.
Meditation is something I've always not sneered at, but always thought, no doing that. No for me. No interested. I recently, only 6 weeks ago, started doing it. Really? Now, this is, I'm going to shout out to them because I think they're doing amazing work. It's the Polar Bear Club in Glasgow. They do the ice, the ice therapy, cold. It's not cold water therapy because it's ice that Kenny and his team use, right? But they've become part of Heal Scotland, an organisation that's just getting off the ground. Exactly everything we're talking about, Heal Scot, everything. They've got so many things, Tai Chi, they've got the ice.
It sounds very similar.
Yeah?
It sounds very similar.
Very, very similar. And it would be good for you to research, have a look at it and see what you think, because they guys are going all over the place with little pop-up getting people to slow down, do the ice, sit and do Tai Chi, meditate, eat well. I had a guy on the radio just the other week, John Angus, and he's all about nutrition. The simple things, because that's the other problem we've got in society. We'll all go eat a pie, a pizza, and everything like that. This guy's going at it from a nutritional end, which also helps your mental health, your well-being and everything. Absolutely. Anyway, back to the meditation thing that I would never go near. I actually, probably quite sneered at for a lot of years. Started that. They started a club and it was called the Early Morning Club, and what they started was 10 minutes meditation, 10 minutes breath work, 10 minutes of exercise. But it wasn't just out your bed at 9 o'clock and do this. No, if you wanted to be dedicated to it and you wanted to make a difference to your day, we're getting up and we're doing it at 20 to 6 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Before your work. Now, I did it, and for the first week I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? But I tell you, it was about 6, maybe 7, 8 days at a push in. Claire says to me, you're sleeping really well at night. I'm like, well, no wonder I'm getting up early in the morning and I'm knackered. She was like, no. You're sleeping at night. You're not getting up. You're not doing this. You're not snoring. You're starting to sleep. So she noticed it. Then I noticed it and I'm like, I feel energetic today. And do you know the amount of stuff that we're getting done, that I personally am getting done before the rest of the family up? Guess what else has happened? I've started making them breakfast. I'm up and cooking for my family in the morning that I've never done.
You want to stop meditation.
So all these different things. Wow. So the wee guy, we've had a problem with the wee guy getting him up. He's got a few balloons and badges and bells and whistles like most children these days get awarded. I've got a no more label tattoo for that reason, enough of the labels. But anyway, he's got a couple of bells and whistles. And getting him out of his bed in the morning, murder. Absolute murder. But see me doing the meditation, the 10 minutes meditation, the 10 minutes breath work, the 10 minutes exercise. Now I'm doing half an hour making breakfast. He actually wants to get up for the breakfast that I'm making before he goes to school. Whereas you'd be grabbing him out of bed saying, come on, move, get on the bus.
That's my language, that is.
Charlie, small little change that I made has made a huge detrimental change in the breakfast part in the house. She's no shouting and bawling at him to get him out. I'm no shouting and bawling. I'm no saying, oh, for God's sake, I've no slept last night.
That's brilliant, James.
Huge. Now that was they guys, a community organisation.
I need to find them.
Facebook.
Yeah, find them.
I've known them for a while. Granted, I've been involved with them for a while because I did a 12 dips for prostate cancer research at Christmas time, and then dip 12 I wanted it to be in the ice, proper cold. Like
we do my sea dipping as well.
Sea dip. Well, we do. Claire and I do that up at the lock up there, which is a sea lock. So very similar. And so going there, meeting them, and everything like that. That's what's led to this. And then obviously you follow their social media, you get sucked into what they're watching, and it's just a big spiral. Like, you know, and
it's fantastic, that, mate.
It is, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is. And so for you to be starting a very similar thing down here, there's something going up there that you should have a look at and bring, because it's all about bringing all these communities together.
It is.
And if anybody's out there that fancies meditation, they should jump on and do it.
How I found meditation was, it's in step 11 of the 12-step human program. And so I couldn't meditate. So what I did is I put my phone on timer for 3 minutes.
Right.
And I just lay in the flare for 3 minutes. And I couldn't get 3 minutes.
Right.
And I thought, if I really need to do this, I need to put my discipline in. So my discipline comes before structure.
Right.
So you've discipline, and then that adds the structure. So for a whole month, I did 3 minutes.
Right.
And by the end of the month, I got like 30 seconds in that 3 minutes.
Right.
And then the next month, I did 4 minutes. And a year later, I'm doing like a whole 20 minutes. So every morning, I do 20 minutes meditation. I'm doing it for about a year and a half now. So every morning, 20 minutes, just silent meditation, just been sitting there.
And it's so beautiful because it stops you. What I didn't wake up in the morning now and scroll. Mm-hmm. So it's took me away from the mobile device in the morning. I'm up doing the breath work, doing the meditation. Mm-hmm. And what I found with it was, I haven't done it while I've been moving my son to Leeds, because I've had to do a lot of driving, so I didn't want to be tired on the road or everything like that. So I haven't been there the last 3 days. Mm-hmm. And let me assure you, I'm missing it big time. I'm really missing it so much. But the changes are, like you say, I was sat there in the morning, I'm looking at that, I'm raising an eyebrow, I'm looking, because it's all done via Zoom with these guys, so that there's other people there and you're part of a group. And that helps, I think, because you want to be there for the rest of the group. So that really helps me to keep going.
Power in it.
Yeah, power in, power safety in numbers. How many times have we been told
power
that?
In the group.
Power in the group, yep. And do you find sometimes that, I would say it was that week that I stopped opening my eyes. And a couple of times I was like, did I fall asleep there?
Yeah.
Did I doze off? No, you just zone out. I didn't fall asleep because I could hear when the guy, the wee chime at the end there, I heard all that. So I wasn't asleep, or else I'd have slept through that, But coming back and like, wow, something happened there. Something really, really, I was off on that astral plane or wherever it is we go.
Was it silent meditation, or was it guided?
Guided.
Guided meditation.
I found that tough at first because somebody rabbiting in you, because I put the headphones in so it doesn't affect the rest of the household. But it's guided. Yeah. But it took a while to get into that, and it works. I'm a total advocate for it now. It works. I've been trying to get Claire to come and do it with me. She's like, you just want me to make the breakfast. But no. But so, sorry, Charlie.
No, it's fine, mate.
Just there's other people out there doing what we are doing. I'm like the talky guy. I want to get everybody talking. Kenny wants to get everybody called and in the ice and get the breathing going. The Heal Scotland, it's like, I want to pull everybody. What's her name? Lilia Let It Go. I think it's her name, Lilia Let It Go on social media.
I need to log into that.
I think so. I'm going to give you the links, or I'll put the links on this. Or I'm certainly going to send you all the links anyway, so that you, even just if there's anything that they're doing, you can bring to your little group.
I love, man, what you said there. I was like, I took mental note, man, when you said pop-up tents.
All sorts,
we have got some gorgeous beaches about here. In the northeast of England, there are some gorgeous beaches. There's Whitby, there's Scarborough, there's Seaton Crew, there's Crimdon.
Well, that's it. You imagine get everybody down the beach, and then you've got somebody that does food that's going to energise everybody with good food instead of the rubbish that we get in some of the bakeries on the high streets and things like that. It's just amazing what can be done.
Fantastic, mate.
Aye. How have we ended up on this?
I don't know, mate. It was just a fantastic conversation about meditation, man.
Well, that's the beauty of what we are doing and having this chat and having the conversation, because I say to folk are like, what am I going to talk about? And I always say, listen, just imagine we're sitting waiting on a bus to go somewhere. We're just two people that are sitting and waiting in the same bus, going to the same destination, but we can talk about our past, or introduce ourselves, or what you expecting when you get there. We can sit and have that conversation. So I find that easy.
I find that when we start talking just about life, you know, because this is what life is like. This is my life. You know, the more that we start to talk, because, and you know, man, as I talk about,
it's like your slogan. I mean, look, it's right above me. Unfiltered lives. Dead easy.
When we talk about our past and we talk about the stuff that went on and others, and we accept and we allow that. We accept and we allow what happened. If we can accept and allow what happened, then we've got a chance to move on. And what does move on mean to me? Well, move on means this. It means, you know, I was an alcoholic and an addict for 30 years, a quite atrocious one actually. And what move on means to me is I can accept that, because I could never accept my past because my behaviour was that bad. And to allow and accept my past and go, I've done that, I accept it, and to move on with life. Move on for life means justice. By talking to another human being, but just talking. How's your day, James? How you been? What's your past like? How do we move on? Because to me, man, this is the biggest gift of life. Life is about talking about life. It's about living life, slowing down, communicating, community. Do you know, as soon as I turn on the blooming news, or if I read a newspaper, I end up getting angry because you're the fighting and the killing and the death and all this stuff and what's happening over there. I can't watch it. And what's happening over there. It's like this degradation of like this angry degradation that they need to feed us, this psyop of just anger and all this, and it's every day, it's every moment we turn on the TV. And to me, I've had enough of that my whole life. I want to sit with people like you, James, and talk about what's happening in Scotland, what's happening with blooming meditation, and what's happening with when going in the water. All this stuff, because really this is what life is supposed to be like.
Work, things like that.
Do you know, I'm a spiritual animal. I don't believe in religion. I believe in spirituality, and I believe every human being should get to know that they're a spiritual animal. And whatever that spiritual means to you, then go and find it. In me, my spiritualness was finding meditation, going on the water, learning how to talk. Learning how to blooming talk and look someone in the eyes, because I used to look down talking to someone because, you know, I was that full of anxiety.
Well, the eyes are the windows to the soul. That's why I apologise to you when I come in, because these things go dark and you can't truly see me. And I hate that. I
didn't have a clue what you're talking about.
No, well, that's what I was saying. I was like, I'm sorry about the glasses. When we go inside, they'll lighten up so that you can see the eyes and see that.
Windows to the soul.
Windows to the soul, bro.
And that's you know, that's what moving on means to me. It's the simple simplicity of lives, of looking another human being in the eyes and just talking about what's going on that day. It's that simple. Unfiltered lives. Unfilter it.
And I think you had said you were going to go to Scotland at some point. I would implore you, if you're going to go to Scotland at some point, to go to one of the festivals that they have. It's very small. When I say festival, it's no big, you're going into a field in the middle of nowhere. Nothing like we've done in the past. It's very, very, it's a small community of people. It's called Heal Scotland, and I think you and your pal should maybe go do it. Unfortunately, so far, I've not been able to go to one because I get my daughter every 2 weeks, and they seem to plan them for every time they've got one on. I've got my daughter. So
it's called Heal Scotland.
Heal Scotland, wow. And I think there's elements of that you could probably bring for your own group, which you're already doing, and doing well by the sounds of it and what I see. That'll maybe help. Maybe, you know, wee add-ons. And they're no gatekeepers, these people. So you're not going to come up against a brick wall. They're going to go, come in, Charlie. You're doing what?
That's another good
point. You know what I mean? They're going to say, come in, brother. Sit down at the table.
Anybody that I can learn from, because, you know, we're only...
You have something you can take.
We're only at the very start of this. We're like, no, even at the start. We're just toddlers of our babies. So anybody that could go, man, Charlie, have you tried this way? I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm just for speaking to other human beings, other like-minded human beings. Do you know? Because for me, when I stopped my drinking, and drugging, it was like someone took off my blindfold. It was like someone took off my blindfold, and I was like, where has this been?
Do you know, Charlie, I was dry for, I would say, a good 5 or 6 years. Maybe even right up to recently. right? Because what I did, unfortunately, was I gave up the drink, the drugs, and everything like that. It all stopped. I did it. Fucking hallelujah. But what I found was I formed another addiction, right? Which was work.
Oh, yes.
So I then went from being a crazy alcoholic to running my own businesses to working literally day, night, 7 days a week, everything like that. And it wasn't until I met my now wife, Claire, that she was like, no, I didn't want somebody to hang about with. I want a partner. James, you're going to kill yourself.
I didn't want something to hang about with.
She was like, you're going to die. This isn't life. And I watched, and she woke me up to a few things. And so what I did was I started slowing down, stopped working at weekends and stuff like that. I had my daughter every second weekend, but guess what? I'd take her to work with me. You know, even though, because I wouldn't stop. But what happened was I stopped one job. We decided we were going to move up north. I accepted that I would move with the family and everything like that, further away from my own. But, you know, a lot of them are grown up and stuff like that. And what I found was, and this is the question I was getting at, apologies. So when all of that stopped, the work slowed down. I started getting rid of the work and doing very little. I was like, who am I? Who's this guy? You know, when I'd shut my eyes and I'd be like, holy fuck, I've not got none. Who am I? What am I going to do? And I would start reaching out to groups. So I think there's a long time for certain people. I mean, you've maybe hit it early because you didn't immerse yourself into what, you didn't drop one addiction for another. You didn't pick up another one other than, you know, the help. I found myself wandering for months and months, like, who am I? What's this? I've been doing the podcast, but I was working. What's that? That's somebody's motorbike.
Is that the fan?
Nah, it'll be an electric lawnmower. So was I was like, what's happening? Anyway, so I was really lost when I started getting up the work, and it was like probably when an addict gives up whatever it is, whether it's social media, whether it's drink, whether it's drugs, no matter what it is, you're giving something up that is consuming you, right? No matter what it is. So I was lost for months and months and months, and you know, I went up the Highlands, and I would say I'm still trying to find who this guy, you know, this is just a sausage suit. I'm trying to find out who this guy in here is, what he's all about. All right, I'm doing a wee thing on radio and that. I'm doing podcasts like this. But there for the busy period there, that's what I've done for a few years now. I'm still feeling a bit lost. I still wake up, do all the things, the meditation, do that. But I'm getting off for the things now. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting a passion for making breakfast. I mean, we're only, 5-6 weeks into it, and I'm starting to find out I actually really enjoy cooking. I used to when I was, you know, before I got heavily into drinking, I was a good cook. I like to cook, and I like the celebration of making food for a group of people, sitting down, breaking the bread. Right, you know that. I like to enjoy a meal with a room full of people. I really, really did. I lost all that. Lost all that for years and years and years, and I think I'm only just getting back to it now at 53-year-old. You know, after years of abuse with alcohol, years of working, probably my dry period about 10 years now, nearly 12, I would think. Looking at cessation, it's probably only 9, complete cessation. I've worked. So it's only like the last, like today this, I knew what I was going. I knew what I was going to ask. I knew what road I was going down with you. I was talking about it all the way here. But the more I talk, I'm like, I'm not that guy anymore. So even this is difficult. You know, I feel like I should be home, making sure the wife's fed, you know what I mean? It's bizarre. It's a bizarre thing to feel this lost. And that was where I was getting me. Have you come across that at all? Have you felt that sort of, right, wandering about, almost like Beaker on the bloody programme we used to watch on the telly? What direction do I go now? What am I all about?
My very early days in Alcoholics Anonymous, I felt very, very lonely. The first year I was very, very lonely because even though I had other alcoholics about me and whatever, I felt lonely because there was nobody speaking my language. Right. You know, I was 30 years in the madness, and when I finally went into recovery, I meant business. I'm here to find out what this is, and I'm still trying to find out what this human being is. But when I mention spirituality, what I mean by that is like things find you when it finds you.
Yeah.
And the more that we can take ourselves out of the way, the more that we can take ourselves out of the way, and the more that we can be comfortable sitting in the uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
That to me is the essence of spirituality. The minute that I can lean into my uncomfortableness. So what is this? What is this all about? Well, let me lean into it. Let me lean in. So how do I lean in? Well, I lean in by getting to know what this person is all about. So this is why I started silent meditation. The reason I started silent meditation is because I knew there was a person inside me that was choking, that was dying to get out. And this person had been dying and choking to get out since he was 13-year-old. So I had to give me space. I had to give me space. That's why I got a caravan over in the beach, and this is why I sit down for 20 minutes, because I believe this animal deserves time to find out who he is before this person goes and finds out who other people is. I don't want to be helping other people if I'm not helping myself. So I believe wholeheartedly that I mean, this isn't selfish, it's selfless. So I become selfish by helping myself and finding out what's in my head and what's in this man's body. And this is why I talk about silence, it's why I talk about slowing down, it's why I talk about meditation, it's why I talk about me going walking, taking a dog out and all this stuff. Because we can tap into this stuff. We can tap into this stuff and find out who we really are. So for me, I was a massive Glasgow Rangers fan for 30 years. I was in it, Union Jacks and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I loved fighting, I loved all this stuff, hooliganism, I loved all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know the minute that I went into recovery and the minute that I started doing my work in myself, I have not watched the TV in over 3 years. I've never been to a football game. I don't know who plays for Rangers. I don't like football.
Yeah.
I don't like anything that's going to come into my life that's going to put me in a place where I might bring anger or resentment or malice.
Too much noise.
Too much for noise. So for me, what I'm saying, as soon as I put down the distractions, and I tried to find out who this real person was, this real person said to me, the person that you are is not the person who you're going to become. The person who you are is not the person who you're going to become. And I was like, what does that mean? The minute that I started to put down all the nonsense, and I started to find out who this animal is. Now, this is going to take me a lifetime to find out who I am, but I'm willing to put the work in. And this is what, football, the TV, the phones, they're all good stuff.
Yep.
They're all good stuff as long as it's not overriding our life.
Yeah.
So I might be...
I can't watch TV. I see that as a huge distraction now.
I might be going a bit extreme here, but to me, I deserve this. I deserve to find out who I am in my world, and that's why my meditation is so important. That's why silent meditation is so important.
And that's why you remember that, Reg. You remember the day. You remember your age and everything, because it was all taken away then. It
was all taken away. All then for the next 30 years was taken away. So for me, this is all. It's all about inward healing. It's all about inward healing. So if I can heal the inside, I can heal the outside. Everything starts and ends with Charlie Morrison. Everything starts and ends with me. So early. Well, in actual fact, I had felt lost my whole life. My whole life I was lost. I knew that when I looked in the mirror, the person looking back was no me. Because I hated the person that looked in the mirror. Right. I hated that. I loathed the person that stared back. Right. I loathed that person. But I knew there was something inside me that was choking to get out. I was dying to get out, but I couldn't understand why I was doing the things I was doing. Right. Why can I not stop the violence? Why can I not stop hurting myself?
Yeah. So you had to make a bond with that. It depends how you look at it. Like, because I have spoke in depth with Alan about this, where when we shut our eyes and you shut your mouth, you can still have that conversation. Who's that? When people say, are you schizophrenic? Yes, everybody is. Because there's more, you're not do you sound the same inside? Do you feel the same inside? So it's a bond of two minds, isn't it? Because they always say there's two halves to the mind and everything like that. There may be even a trilogy if you look at the back of the mind. So there's maybe 3 people in there, 3 characters in there, 3 beings, 3, and it's forming an alliance with each other. You know, so that you stop hating.
You've hit the nail on the head.
You, the guy in the mirror, you've had a go at this.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Aye, you know, stop. You've had your go. It's my turn now.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Aye, yeah.
The nail on the head, brother.
Well, I'll be honest about that. That is something that came from Alan. That's resonated with me. So that's his, you know, his way of seeing it and thing. But it's resonated with me, and now I use it to put it to other people as I've just done now.
I couldn't have said it any better if I tried. As soon as I got into this took me months, by the way. This isn't it. Do you know, when I go into meditation, my mind, do you know that person always talks? It goes in line.
Yeah.
We become friends.
Yeah.
Because this on top of my head had been my enemy my whole life. I could not understand why this thing on top of my head had been my enemy. I would up for a pain in the middle, like, and my head would be attacking me. I'm useless, I'm this, I'm no good, I'm da da da. How can this thing on top of my head be my enemy? I read a book by Eckhart Tolle, called The Power of Now, you know, the famous book, and he said a quote, that this head of us is called the disease of the brain, because this brain was never designed to be constantly on. It was never designed to be. This brain was supposed to be so that we go in and we use it for the artistic or whatever we're going to be using it for. It's not supposed to be chattering on as much as we are. Because when I speak to people, I say to people, your head has been on, because I can see them looking at me. Your head has been talking to you for the minute that you go to bed, and it's talking to you right now, and it's going to talk to you until you go to sleep. And I'll go, how do you know? And because I can see it in you.
Yeah, you can tell.
Do you know what I mean? And if you were to call in your head Jimmy, and if Jimmy was sitting next to you, you'd strangle the life out of Jimmy. For the first 20 minutes of your day, if Jimmy was you would strangle another human being to death.
Yeah.
So how do you make an alliance? How do you make the alliance where you need to
form a partnership and an alliance?
That's the question. And to me, it was meditation.
Yeah.
To me, it was
like Alan's alliance was the art, because he would say to me, James, I
love that. I
put the pen to paper, and that happens, and then I would be sitting looking at him like, that's mental. That is. He would draw doodles that spoke so much in volumes. He was like, I don't know how to do that, but when I listen to him inside, he does it. You know,
that makes me like that.
It's phenomenal, isn't it?
That's passion and purpose.
Passion and purpose.
Passion and purpose that we didn't know we had.
Didn't know. Yeah.
And because we're all different. Every human being is different, but we're all connected. And like Alan, you know, that passion and purpose. You know, he doesn't know how he's doing it, but when he's doing it, but that stuff was hidden.
Yeah.
It's hidden by everything.
It's like artists, artists, like not drawings or anything like that. Musicians, I should say. Some of the best songs we've ever heard on this planet, where did they come from? And half of them will say, I don't know. It just came to me. I put it to paper, I put it to my guitar, then I wrote it down. And I can't mind half of what I did or said, but I got the best bit, or I got that bit, and then they're topping the charts or whatever, or it's resonating with millions of people around the world. And I've asked a few, where does it come from? And a lot of people say it comes from some sort of purpose, something that's happened in their life, that then they got this download of information that let them deal with their hurt, their pain, their whatever, by putting it into song. And it's
and that's it. It comes from the unconscious mind.
The unconscious mind, yeah.
Don't know.
That wakens through extreme circumstances. Something awakens in all of us. I mean, or else I wouldn't be here today, Charlie. I would not, would I? I would have taken my laddie to Leeds and bolted back up the road. You know, another. So.
What I believe, though, I'm aware that passion and purpose, and way your friend Alan is that we need to do work as well. We need to start to. First of all, we need to work on ourselves.
We do.
It's all right when talking about the passion, the purpose, and the meaning, and all the good stuff. But in actual fact,
you definitely can't go out helping everybody without helping yourself. You
need to. For me, first of all, I need to get honest, and then I need to get willing and open-mindedness.
Yeah.
You know, the 3 spiritual man principles. I need those 3, and then I need to I need to accept. I need to accept, and then for me, I had to join my tribe. I had to join a tribe of people who actually got me, because I thought I was the only person that suffered from this. And then I had to go deep and do the work. And so I would say to anybody who's interested in this, that there is a start, and the start is to get honest with yourself. The minute that we can get honest with yourself and put our hand up and go, do you know, I need a wee bit of help here.
Yeah.
That's when the work can finally start, and we can really start to get in and start to really do the work, and then we can start to get the good stuff, because we have been putting stuff on top of this. There's layers. It's that old onion. It's the old onion metaphor. You know, we need to peel back. We need to peel back, and then we start putting the layers back on. So there is some work, and there is some heavy work. For me in particular, there was some heavy work to do. Yeah. There was a heavy load to carry. And there was a lot of apologies to make as well.
A
lot of apologies.
Yeah, you know? And I guess the you were speaking of the 12-step program, the one that I couldn't take to, but you went through that and that worked for you. Did you make them all these apologies that? And how was that? Because some of them would have been dark, horrible, hard apologies for horrible, nasty situations potentially.
They say that step 4 and step 5 are the hardest, but in me they were probably the biggest gift. The biggest gift in my life, my mum, was to get me vulnerable. I didn't know that being vulnerable would have been a superpower, but the minute you start to get more vulnerable and you realise when you're part in all this, and that's what step 9 is about, is realising when you're part, and then getting willing to make these amends, and then in step 9 we go and we make these amends. So I had to make amends to my mum. I hadn't seen my dad in 20 years either. Do you know, because I just didn't want to see him. And so, do you know, about 3 months ago there, man, I went
seen it on social media.
I went and seen my dad and everything else. So the amends are hard, but you've got to see it. But you've got to see when you're part in it. And I think, man, this is why, like, the fellowships work for some people, especially for people like me who live chaotic in my lives. And the steps gave me a reason and a purpose, so that I knew that I could walk this similar path. I'm not in the fellowship anymore, but it served me. It was the last thing I did. It was the first thing that got me sober. Yeah.
And speaking of the fellowship, I know, and I asked you to sit there specifically, and I think it'd be nice for you to give a shout out to the three
lads behind us.
The 3 lads behind you, because he's a different guy to what's sitting there. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you want to name drop them, the camera's on you.
So, we've got Kieran here, the tall one, with the kind of red armchair. He was my sponsee, and then we've got Dan, who is Kieran's sponsee. So there's 3 generations there of sponsors, sponsormen and sponsees. So it's a really important picture that the 3 of us in the fellowship. And 3 really close my brothers, man, as well.
Right. And that's why I sat him there, because I thought it was important to have the boys having your back, you know. Well,
two of my best mates, man, as well, and my brothers in this, they all get this message, because I preach a message of being recovered. You know, I don't preach a message, that we're always in recovery,
revolving recovery.
No, I don't believe that, but that's just my opinion.
Some people need that. Some people need something to celebrate it. I don't believe in the revolving recovery myself.
No, I don't.
I wouldn't tell you that I'm an alcoholic. I would tell you I was.
Yes.
You know, I'm not now. I'm 100% not now, because it doesn't grip, control, have anything to do with my life anymore. I'm able to go watch people get drunk, have a drink.
Yeah.
I usually don't hang about very long, but you know, I can go there, I can watch. And would you agree with that? That you were an alcoholic? You are not now.
I firmly believe that I was an alcoholic, but in the same sense, I would never be able to touch a drink again.
No.
Do you know, it's a case if I could drink. It's a case that when I took my blindfolds off, my blindfolds came off. So if I was to touch a drink again, what I'm doing is I put my blindfold back on, and why would I ever want to be blind? But recovery is so important. Recovery is different from being abstinent, because recovery means that you're going to work on yourself, and then you're going to go and live this absolutely beautiful life. And to me, what recovery means is that you're going to go out and you're going to connect in a community, and you're just going to be part of this world.
Yeah.
We don't have to define who we are in this world.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? We just need to be ourselves. So I'm no Charlie the alcoholic. I'm Charlie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was Charlie the alcoholic in Alcoholics Anonymous, but in a minute, do you know what? I'm Charlie. I could never drink again because my drink would take me straight back to where I was.
It would undo all the good work.
It would.
Aye. I
know for a fact if I was to take my one drink, I would be at it.
Yeah.
I would, without a shadow of.
And do you think then that thought process of if I had one drink, I'd be back at it again? Do you think then that is still part of the recovery that's waiting to happen to you, so that it wouldn't matter if you took one, you would know enough about Charlie that Charlie can't have another one.
Yeah.
Charlie can't have 3, can't have 5. It's not worth the risk, I understand. No. But do you think that's maybe part of the recovery process, that maybe in 5 years that would be different, or are you just blanket, absolutely not, just in case, which is fair enough as well, by the way.
I'm in pubs all the time.
Yes.
I'm in pubs all the time, going for coffee, man, and all that stuff. Being around alcohol doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me one bit. And it's not a case that alcohol scares me. Like, you know, if I was to have a drink in 5 years, I mean, could I drink in 5 years? The case of why would I want to?
Aye.
Because alcohol is going to serve me nothing now. It's not going to give me anything. In actual fact, it's going to take away.
Aye.
So my experience of alcohol tells me that I could never drink one safely anyway. Yeah. And my experience of alcohol has told me that it will take away instead of adding.
Yeah.
And the real adding in life is actually finding out who we are.
Is it not just beautiful to have an absolute clear mind?
Oh.
Absolutely clear.
Do you know what it's
no
like?
distractions, no noise.
Just waking up in the morning, no hangover, no feeling sick, no owing anybody money, nothing. Just waking up in the morning, going and getting a glass of water and putting a bit of lemon in it.
Aye.
I mean, do you know?
I know. I've got a lot of friends around about me. Not so much now that I've moved up north, but a lot of friends that still take cannabis.
Uh-huh.
I can't touch that. I don't want to. I've no intention or want or need. But I just didn't understand why people need a vice.
Yeah.
Why were we brought up to be pushed into needing a vice? Oh, let's just go for a drink at the weekend. You know, you've worked hard all week. You go have a drink and get over it. Or I'll just have a wee smoke now just to calm me down. I've had a hard day. Oh, so what? Go for a swim. Take the bear into the park.
Yeah.
That will help you get over your hard day.
Yeah.
You know, relax, slow down. That's something I'm taking for the day, is that slow down. Because it has made me think of the meditation. It has made me think of Claire and what she's done for me by getting me to slow down and figure out who I am on this planet.
Find your breath, mate.
Find your breath,
just man. Find your breath, and just the biggest thing that I can say to you is just find your breath, switch everything off, and just sit there and just and you will find yourself. You just you know, we don't have to ask.
Yeah,
we just need to turn off the stuff that's around us and just sit there and just smile. And not just.
I think. Look, we're an hour and 21 minutes in. Fantastic. Usually I'd only do these about an hour and then stop and then see what happens after that. But look,
thanks,
what you're up to here, right? What you're up to locally, is it a community interest company? Community interest company, charity, anything like that. Who knows where it'll go anyway. How do people find you? I think I'll put you on camera and you can tell them how to find you. Easiest ways, best ways. Or join you. You go for it, so it's on.
Yeah, so how you'll find us, you'll find me on TikTok, Charlie Morrison, Unfiltered Lives, or you will find us on Facebook. And now our Facebook is called We Do, as in we do meditation, we do Tai Chi, we do walk and talk. So we're actually called We Do. But on Facebook, you'll find me under Charlie Morrison. I think there's something like 100,000 followers on my Facebook at the moment.
Aye.
I don't know how that works.
So when you get to that level, should Facebook not be paying you? You know, when you've got that amount of people, should you not be getting paid? Because think if you were getting paid for that, how much you could put into your group.
And I think at the moment we're not even touching, we're not even scratching the surface of this. But we haven't even poured any money into this man yet.
Well, look, you heard me talking about and saying to you about Heal Scotland. And then you're doing a very similar thing in the northeast of England. I think it needs, maybe when all the minds get together, it might be let's heal humanity.
you know, if there's anything that's came out of this man podcast, is what you've spoken about with Healing with Scotland, because Scotland is still very close to my heart.
Yes,
Glasgow's very close to my heart, so that's something I will be looking at.
Polar Bear Club is in Glasgow.
Yeah,
Lilia, who runs, I think she's one of the directors of Heal Scotland, goes to the Polar Bear Club on a Thursday in Glasgow. So if you're ever up there, you know, I would look the guys up and get in about it and have a chat with them, you know. Even if it's just, you might see something, you know, who knows what it'll be.
It's the same language.
It is, it's exactly the same. And you're talking about it, you're going into the sea, you're going, it's everything. I don't know if they do Tai Chi or that. That son, I've waited and put myself a wee bit remote, because I would go to Tai Chi now. Yeah. Had it all in my fingertips in the city, and I would have went to it all knowing what I know now. But now I'm in the middle of nowhere, it's not as rife, it's not as popular, it's very, very difficult.
But look what you're doing, James. Look what you're doing, mate. Honestly, I mean, we need people, man, like you, brother, with that passion and purpose, who are going to go that extra mile, and you go that extra mile. We need people, man, like you, who are going to go out there. I mean, I'm here in the northeast, and at Heal Scotland. We need people like you, man, in your podcast, James, to get this word out there.
To connect the dots, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, connect brother. All the dots.
Exactly,
because,
brother.
You know, it'd be very easy to chase the social media vibe of going to, you know, chasing after people of a certain religion or office. You know, it'd be very easy to do all that and get the clicks, the likes, and the love and the money out of YouTube. But it's just no for me. I'm more this connection of people, getting the community back. That's what I think I'm all about. Charlie, thank you,
thanks,
sir.
Brother.
Yes, thank you. But let's play it out with this. This is my wee happy song that I always play it out with.
I enjoyed that.
Really good, huh? And
keep speaking to tomorrow.
Keep doing yours. Keep doing what you do. Can he be a bit of ska? I love that. Right, Charlie, final words to your camera, son. Go for it. Final words. Just adios. Thank whoever you need to thank, and let's get out of here. I just want to thank everybody at our lived experience recovery organisation. You know who you are, and I just want to say to everybody out there: put your phones down, put off the telly, stop doing whatever you're doing, take a deep breath, and find out who you really are. And if you can't find out who you are, give us a wee message, and we'll start to work with you. Take care. Bye bye. And all I'm going to finish with saying is, breathe. Adios, amigos.